So one is the supervision system, or at Oxford, they call them tutorials. So that's the one-on-one or one-on-two system where you write over the course of the year 6 2,000-word essays per class that you take. And you have an academic who reads those essays, who gives you comments and feedback on those essays, and then meets with you to discuss those essays for an hour as part of the normal routine, not an office hour that you have an option to go to, but as part of what everybody does, mandatory. And those essays don't count for points. So you can experiment in them, but you're expected to do them. And the reason that you're going to do them, if you are someone who wouldn't be intrinsically motivated to do them, is the shame that you will feel in that meeting for an hour, often with a peer, as you don't know what you're talking about. You can't participate in the conversation effectively, and you feel bad. So there's a little bit of an honor and status aspect to it, a little bit of a peer competition thing that's created. But also at the same time, for the vast bulk of students, they're intrinsically motivated to do this because they're getting feedback from someone who's an expert in the field. And it would be incredibly foolish to waste that opportunity. So very few people do waste it, and very rarely does it have to be a negative experience.
So in
addition to that...
Oh, sorry, keep going. Yeah, please.
Right. So in addition to the one-to-one stuff, the other thing that we've got is reading lists that are comprehensive, that include far more than anybody could read on their own. So for one course, we'll have like 24 topics, right? Each of those topics will have a reading list that could be as long as the syllabus for a single course in the United States. You, over the course of the year, would only do 6 of those topics because you get 6 2,000-word essays, right? So in a course that's got, say, 24 or 30 topics, you're going to do just 6. And then for each of those essays, you're not going to read the whole reading list for each essay because you won't have time, because you're not just doing this course. You do 4 different courses at once. So you're doing 24 topics over the course of the year, spread across 6 different courses. And you are made aware you are only reading a small portion of the things you've been given. What you've been given is a small portion of what exists on the topic. And you have been given the resources so that if you want to read about these other topics or go into this other stuff that we don't have the resources to do individually with you, you've got that permanently for the rest of life. You've got those syllabi with those reading lists. And so if you want to start studying one of these topics, and I do this now, if I am interested in reading about or talking about some part of what I taught at Cambridge, I go to that reading list and I read the stuff that we gave to undergraduates. I look back over that stuff because that stuff is good. In the States, oftentimes they don't even give you primary text to read. They give you a reader. They give you something to help you with it. They give you some secondary material. They're not even comfortable in many cases giving you proper journal articles to read because they think you won't read those. So you don't have the stuff to read. You don't know what to read. You don't know where to begin with what to read. And those reading lists include intentionally different conflicting perspectives on the material. So in the secondary literature, you're going to have some people who interpret the material in one way and some people who interpret it in very, very different ways. You're going to get a sense that for each of those topics, there's at least 3 or 4 different quite important views about how to interpret that theorist or how to answer the normative questions that that topic engages. Nobody's going to be saying you're going to get a good grade if you agree with the professor. Indeed, if you parrot the lecture in your papers or on the exams, you're going to get a worse mark. If you say exactly what the professor said in class without adding anything of your own, you're not going to get a first-class mark. You'll get what in the UK we call a 2-1, which means you showed up, you paid a certain level of attention, your argument makes a certain amount of sense, but it's not original and it's not necessarily something that we would go, okay, let's keep this person on for a master's degree or a PhD. We use the distinction, the marking system. It's first, 2-1, 2-2, third, fail. The vast majority of people get 2-1s, and we use the first to show this person is doing something special that goes beyond. And because of that, the distinction between a first and a 2-1 is nebulous. If you tell someone didactically, here's how to get a first, it wouldn't be a first anymore. It would cease to be a first if you could be told how to get it. And undergraduate students have a difficult time grasping this because they're accustomed to the secondary system where you do what you're told, you get a good score. There is no doing what you're told and getting a first. To get a first, you must be someone who doesn't just do what they're told. And that's in the education system from the beginning.